And we are live. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the FreshandFit Podcast. We're here with the legend himself,
Robert Kiyosaki.
the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Let's get into it, baby.
Let's go.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is a big show today, man. So quick announcement before we get right into it, man. Patreon.com/FreshFit, guys. We got a couple spots open on there at the $100 and the $200 tier. I think we have like maybe one or two left. Yep. Go ahead, get in there, guys. We talk about real estate, making money, getting girls, getting in shape, and just becoming a better man overall. But today we're going to be talking about money. And last week, guys, we had some sound problems because we had just upgraded a bunch of equipment in the studio.
Yep.
But shout out to Trey being able to figure it out yesterday. And now we are good, man. We are here with the legend himself, Robert Kiyosaki. If you guys don't know who this is the author of the legendary book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which I read and I thought was one of the best reads. And, you know, obviously now I'm a real estate investor thanks to this man right here. So, Robert, can you introduce, we know who you are, obviously, but introduce yourself to the people.
Well, first of all, you guys, it's I'm glad we're finally connected. And we saw you in Miami on June 11th.
Yep.
A lot has happened since then. But anyway, congratulations on all your success and all that. And I'm great we're on this program. The story of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you know, obviously Japanese. I'm fourth generation. That means I don't speak Japanese. And I'm from Hawaii. My poor dad was the head of education for the state of Hawaii. Very smart guy for Japanese, fairly tall, 6'3".
Oh, wow.
And a really smart man. He graduated from University of Hawaii in 2 years and then went on to Stanford, University of Chicago, and Northwestern. And he ultimately was awarded his PhD. He's a very smart man, but he's my poor dad because, as you know, most school teachers know nothing about money, and our schools teach us nothing about money. Mm-hmm. And then when I was in the fourth grade, 9 years old, our family moved across town, a little town called Hilo, Hawaii. It's the deep South. It's a city. It's even further south than Miami, and because Hilo is 19.5 degrees north latitude. So we moved across town, little sugar plantation town, pretty sleepy, always wet, and we moved from kind of the poor part of town to the less poor part of town. They're still poor, and for some reason, I went to a school that both elementary schools were across the street. Mm-hmm. But if you were on one side, on the other side, you went to this school and you went to this other school. So the school I went to, not by my father didn't mess around with it, even though he was head of education. I went to the rich kid school. So the school was called Riverside School. And directly across the street, man, you could throw, a football and hit the other school. It was called Union School. And Union School is for the labor union, the plantation workers. So you get the drift. On one side of the street, the immigrants, the guys who work for the plantation. Mm-hmm. On the other side of the street, the guys who own the plantation.
Wow.
So I'm 9 years old and I go across the street and most of my classmates were white guys, good guys, rich as hell and all this. They own the plantations, they own the car dealerships, they own the ranches, they own all this. And the other guys were Chinese in the class. The Chinese are always rich. So I'm the poor kid in the class. And as I'm 9 years old, I asked myself, well, how come some people are rich and some people are poor? And that's when I asked my school teacher, Mrs. Baptiste, I said, when are we going to learn about money at school? And she gave me that religious bullshit. Mm-hmm. The love of money is the root of all evil.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
And I said to her, I said, well, maybe evil to you, but I'd like to have some. And she goes, well, we don't teach money at school. And so I started pestering her. She says, well, your father's my boss. That's poor dad. Ask him. So I go home and I ask the old man, I said, how come we don't learn about money at school? He goes, because the government won't let us teach it. I'm a kid. I'm going, why? And he said, well, we're supposed to teach you how to get a job, but don't we get a job to work for money? Why don't we shortcut the step a little bit? Let's get to the money part. And that's how it kind of started. So he said to me, why don't you ask your best friend's father? And that was Mike in the Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And Mike's father was the rich dad. And I said, why would Rich Dad, or why did Mike's father know about money? And my poor dad said to me, he says, because Mike's father's an entrepreneur. And you're 9 years old. I'm going, ¿Qué pasa? What's an entrepreneur?
Yeah, what is that?
What's happening, man? He says, and I said, what are you, Dad? He says, I'm an employee. I said, well, how do I become an entrepreneur? I don't want to be like you. I want to be a rich guy. Mm-hmm. And that's how the whole story started. So at 9 years old, I started working for my rich dad for free because he wouldn't pay me. Mm-hmm. And he wouldn't pay me, he says, because if I pay you, you'll think like an employee. Mm-hmm. And that was the start, man. He says, entrepreneurs work for free. You don't want a paycheck. You don't want Social Security. You don't want that. So that was the whole story of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And the way my rich dad taught me about money, or his son and me, was we had to work for free for about an hour after school. And then he'd play Monopoly with us. And I said, well, why are we playing Monopoly? He says, well, you want to learn about money, didn't you? I said, yeah. And he says, well, on this, he said, there's a million ways to get rich. There's a million ways to financial heaven. And there's a billion ways to financial hell. Most people go to hell. So I said, so what's this formula here? He says, well, Monopoly is one of the best formulas of all. It's 4 green houses, 1031 tax deferred exchange, red hotel. I said, what? I said, what? If I play Monopoly in real life, I can get rich? He goes, yeah. He says, what do you think I'm doing? And then he showed me and his son his 4 green houses. And then 10 years later, when I was 19, he owned this big red hotel smack dab in Waikiki Beach. Today it's called the Hyatt Regency. He just sold it for $100 million.
Wow. Whoa, there's one right here too.
Yeah, there's one right next door to us.
Yeah. So anyway, but he didn't own the hotel. He owned the land.
That's
a very big difference in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, so that kind of messed me up. And from there, I went to school in New York, went to military school, which was the best thing I could ever done because I was really messed. I lacked discipline. I was a surfer.
Which military school did you go to?
U.S. Merchant Marine Academy, Kings Point.
Okay.
The highest paid graduates in the world. I mean, they're still the highest paid graduates in the world. 1969, my classmates were making $120,000 a year.
Wow.
Wow.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what year that they were making that kind of money?
69.
$120,000 a year, and 69 is the equivalent to what? Maybe like 300 grand now, maybe more.
Probably $1 million today.
Million today.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And then, but this is the problem was I had an English teacher who was a West Point graduate. See, there's 5 academies: West Point, Kings Point, Naval Academy, Air Force Academy, and Coast Guard. So I chose West Point because of high pay. Mm-hmm. But my instructor was a West Point graduate. He flew B-17s in World War II. Got shot down twice. Mm-hmm. So here I'm 18 years old listening to this guy, and I see this look in his eye. And I said, so after he was shot down, captured once, all this stuff, he escaped once, he went to Harvard and became a professor. Mm-hmm. So I'm 18 years old listening to this guy. So in 1969, I graduated. I get this high-paying job working in San Francisco. But that guy got to me. Mm-hmm. So I go talk to my English teacher, and I said, I'm a success. I'm 21 years old. I didn't make the 120K. I made 47.5 a year, but I only had to work 7 months a year. I was sailing oil tankers. I drove oil tankers with Standard Oil. And I looked at him. I said, I'm successful. 21 years old, making 47.5 a year. Back then, people were making at the best 20,000. My father was making 19,000.
Wow, your dad.
That's how low the pay scales were back then. And I look at my English teacher and I go, so tell me what it was like to fly a B-17. He smiled and he says, best experience of my life. So what was it like to get shot down? He says, second best experience of my life.
Oh.
So I'm sitting there, when you're not, well, I was 21, you're 21 or 22. And you go, holy mackerel. Holy mackerel. So in 69, the Vietnam War was still on. Mm-hmm. So I go, well, high paying job, career for life. I probably turn out to be this big fat guy driving a ship, be ship's captain someday, get married, 9 kids, that shit. Or I can go fly in Vietnam. So I quit Standard Oil, joined the Marine Corps, and was in Vietnam 2 years later.
Whoa. Can you tell us about that? What it was like, you was
exactly, you guys know what I'm talking about, that look in the eye. Mm-hmm. It was the best decision of my life. I joined the U.S. Marine Corps, which proves I'm not the smartest guy on earth. And I go to Pensacola, Florida, 2 years there, 1 year Camp Pendleton, onto an aircraft carrier in Vietnam. I went down 3 times.
Whoa.
I tell you what, guys, and I say what was the best education of your life? It was the U.S. Marine Corps. Mm-hmm. I learned more about self-discipline, teamwork, trust, loyalty, honor, dignity, stuff they don't teach you in school.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they don't. They definitely don't teach you that in school. They teach you algebra and a bunch of other useless topics as well. Yeah. Real quick, I'll read these donations, then we'll continue on with it, because this is a fantastic story, and I think everyone needs to hear this about your origin story of how you came to become the wildly successful entrepreneur that you are today. So real fast, and thank you guys so much for the support here. We got Gazy, $279. Thank you so much. Wayne, $100. Had to catch the replay on this one. Props to FNF and Robert Kiyosaki. Thank you so much, Wayne.
Thank you, Wayne.
Philip with her. Hey, Robert, love your work. As a fellow Asian myself, how was dating for you before getting married? I'm 27 and a body count of 11. Don't worry about it, Phil. We'll talk about his life as well. We're going on without the origin story. Greetings from Marrakesh to FNF and Mr. Kiyosaki. Currently learning how to make smart contracts. Is it a good strategy to use my blockchain skills to earn money first, later invest in real estate? You'll see here in a second. And then Gazy, thank you so much for the donations for $279. And then ICE SRT, ISK KR 3000. Shout out from Iceland. Shout out to Iceland, man. We got a bunch of people watching all over the world.
All over.
And then Native of Rainfire content. Peace to Mr. Robert K. City Boys, we out here. Thank you so much, guys. And guys, like the video, by the way. I don't want to stop the interview to too much. Josh Miso, $10. My dad made me read Rich Dad Poor Dad as a 12-year-old, and I'm glad he did. You helped me find myself now. I own advanced vending business, financial practice, and purchase assets that cash flow.
There you go.
Good stuff for you, Josh. Your dad set you up to win early. Mm-hmm. So you're in Vietnam. You're serving. So you enlisted in the military. You enlisted, right? You didn't go in as an officer.
I was commissioned.
You were commissioned. Oh yeah, because you went through the military, through college, and then you went in. And you 2 years in, and then they send you to Vietnam. What was that like?
Well, again, it was like, I cannot explain that to you. It's when your life changes. Mm-hmm. That's what you make. You always make those decisions. I'm very happy that young man talked about his father giving him the book, and he could either do what he does, but you make these decisions in your life, and your life changes. Mm-hmm. So here I was at 1969. My life was made. I was set for life. Mm-hmm. High-paying job with Standard Oil. My father was proud of me, all that crap. Mm-hmm. And then so I was going to work out of San Francisco. I was probably get married, have kids, and get fat. And somehow that didn't sound very exciting.
Good choice. They didn't do it.
Yeah. I said, and he says, you might die. And I said, I might live. So I flew the helicopter gunship in Vietnam, which was the best thing I ever did. Mm-hmm. It was the perfect aircraft for me. I frickin' loved it. It was the most feared weapon. It was the Viet Cong's most feared weapon, because when we rolled in, we went eye to eye with them. Mm. And I'm not recommending it, but if you're going to go to a war, you want to see fear in the other guy's eyes, not your eyes.
Of course, yeah. Of course. You gotta You got to let them know that, hey, we're the big dogs here. And you know, obviously that was a controversial time. You know, a lot of people defected and ran to Canada and, you know, didn't want to serve. And, you know, there was a draft. So no, man, thank you for your service. Obviously that was a very difficult time, you know, and then even when the soldiers came back, what was it like coming back to, you know, obviously it was a split country at that point. Some people were for it. Some people were against it. Some people, you know, called the soldiers terrible things when they returned. What was that like coming back?
Well, I'll tell you the story. We were taxiing into Norton Air Force Base, January 3rd, 1973. The reason I know that date, because every person going over there knows the day they get back, if they come back. And as we're taxiing in, the captain of the plane said, he says, there's only men at the time. He says, gentlemen, America has changed. And we didn't really know what he meant. But when we pulled up near the ramp at Norton Air Force Base, there was thousands of anti-war protesters. There was no welcome home.
Yeah.
It was fuck you.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then we come out, and the guy says, as soon as you get into this air base, into the hangar, not the military terminal, he says, change into civilian clothes and disappear as fast as you can. Welcome home.
Wow.
So my guys and I, we run in, we change, we got hit by eggs and spit on, and it was horrible. All these hippies, all these flower children from Woodstock and love and happiness, they're vicious little bastards.
Yeah. Yeah. And where did they, when you came back, where'd you come in, through what city?
It was Norton Air Force Base. It's north of San Francisco.
North of San Francisco. Okay.
And I went straight to the airport and caught a commercial to Hawaii and went home. Mm-hmm. And again, there was no welcome home. It was fuck you.
Yeah.
Damn.
It was tough. It was tough. It was character building.
So now you said it's 1971, right? At this point?
Yeah. Oh, it's now 72.
72?
73,
okay.
73, yeah.
Like that. So you're back in Hawaii, 1973, fresh out the military. What's the next move?
Well, I still have another year. So I flew out of Marine Corps Air Station, Kaneohe, Hawaii. Mm-hmm. And it was a time I had to make another change in life. And, you guys are really young, but you'll probably come to several of those times in your life is when you take the road to the left or the road to the right, Mm-hmm. So I go to my poor dad and I ask my poor dad, I'm going to get out. What do you recommend I do? And of course, what does he say? Same old thing he told me before. He says, you should fly for United Airlines, go back to school, get your master's, and get your PhD. Mm-hmm. Become this fat airline pilot instead of a fat ship's officer. And then I asked my rich dad, I said, what should I do? And he says, I'll just show you the diagram really quickly.
Sure.
It's a second book of Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
You guys are about to get some game right now, man. The legend himself.
It's on the receipts.
Yeah. Get your pen and papers out, guys. I got mine out here right now.
Okay, so this is the picture. Mm-hmm. So this is book number 2, the CashFlow Quadrant. Mm-hmm. And it's E stands for employee. S stands for small business, self-employed, or a specialist, like a doctor or a lawyer. And B stands for big business, 500 employees or more. Mm-hmm. And I stands for inside investor. See, these guys invest, but they generally invest in like 401k, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, that stuff. So on the other side here, think about it this way. All of us could make a hamburger. All of us could operate, build a hamburger stand and survive. Mm-hmm. But very few of us could build McDonald's.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's basically what you guys always talk about. It's your mindset. Mm-hmm. And so here I am. I'm now about 27 years old. I forget how old I am. And my poor dad wants me to stay over here, fly for the airlines, and I probably make $400,000 a year. And then go back and get my master's and get my PhD. I don't know for what. Pilots don't need PhDs. Yeah. But that was in the Japanese mindset. The higher your college degree, the smarter you were. Mm-hmm. And my rich dad says over here, he says, this is where he is. and this is where he is. So this is poor dad, and this is rich dad.
Mhm.
So it's the same thing. We could pass on the lesson to all your viewers here. In life, you'll come up to these moments in time that your life will change. Your life will change. So it's the same as when I was talking to my instructor at Kings Point, the Merchant Marine Academy. I could taken the job with Standard Oil and done well,
Mhm.
or I could fly in Vietnam. So when I came back from Vietnam, here's poor dad,
Mhm.
and this is rich dad here.
Yeah.
The difference is the skills are different. The mindset is different. The education is different. So what happened when I'm sitting there listening to both men. I'm in the Marine Corps. I got one more year to go. And I went and I followed with my rich dad, my poor dad recommended. I went and I got in the MBA program at the University of Hawaii. And I was sound asleep. It was the most boring thing I've ever been through. And plus I'm in there with a military uniform. I'm getting spit on at school.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't very pleasant. So, so at that point, I knew I was going to come over here. So this is where the road forks again. So instead of flying for United Airlines, when I talked to my rich dad, I said, well, what's the number one skill on this side? The skills are different. Like you're going to be a doctor. The doctor skills are different than these guys' skills.
Mhm.
So the basic skill on this side, according to my rich dad, was you have to sell.
Mhm.
You cannot be an entrepreneur if you cannot sell.
Yeah.
And that scared the crap out of me because, I'm Japanese. I'm really a shy person.
Mhm.
And my rich dad looked at me and he says, "You're shy, huh? Big fucking deal. What are you going to do about it?" I said, "Well, I just don't, I just don't like rejection. I don't like this and I don't like that. I could kill people, but I couldn't talk to them."
Mhm.
So my rich dad's pressuring me. He says, I said, "I don't want to sell," because on my poor dad's side, the Japanese side, salesmen are scum, salesmen are crooks, salesmen are con men. And on this side, sales, you have to have the ability to sell. Can you handle rejection?
Mhm.
Can somebody say no to you, and can you come back? And I didn't want to do that. I'm a very shy person. So he says that shyness is killing you.
Mhm.
It's emotion, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So then he says to me, finally, this is where you guys would fit in. He says, "How's your sex life?" And I said, "Terrible." He says, "Because you can't sell." And he says, "I promise you, if you learn how to sell, you get laid more." I said, "I'm done. I'm in."
Yeah. Yeah. No,
So I went to work with
definitely,
Xerox.
dating is definitely sales. You know what I'm saying? On high stakes sales is basically what dating
It
women
translates
really
into
is.
so many parts of your life.
But it does
It's
translate
funny.
into other things.
Yeah, if you can't let a young, you know how women will shoot you down, or what Rollo and those guys, they'll shit test you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
if you can't put up with that, you're not going to make it, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean,
Absolutely.
it's no difference. But this is an interesting thing is I joined Xerox Corporation, and I met my best friend there. And tomorrow I fly to he lives in Hollywood, and he and I were best friends since 1974. He just sold this business 2 years ago for $1 billion.
Wow.
Wow.
But that's what happens when you learn how to sell.
Yep.
And Xerox had fantastic sales training.
Mhm.
So one of the reasons, Trump and I are friends. I know people hate the guy, but Trump's a good man.
Mhm.
And Trump and I got together, and when we used to speak at huge stages like Javits Center and Moscone Center. And we'd always recommend people join network marketing.
Mm.
Because if you join network marketing, you'll go through your fear that if you can't handle rejection, you're not going to make it in life.
Yeah.
If you can't handle rejection, you don't get the good women.
Yeah.
Numbers
Because
game.
it's a numbers game, so you got to be able to do it. How long have you known Donald Trump? How long have you guys been friends?
About 2000.
Wow. So you've known him you guys have been friends for over 20
Yeah,
years.
we wrote 2 books together. His sons and I are really good friends.
Mm.
They're really a good family. I know them personally, and I've been in. His sons and I, we've his sons and I, we go hunting. We're hunters.
Mm.
And we've spent, a week at a time living on the beach, no running water, no toilets, no food.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to know guys pretty well when you're sitting there stinky and all this stuff.
Yeah.
We had to shoot what we eat or catch what we ate. And they're strong young men, just really, really good young men. I still can, I still call them. They're just great guys.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, the point here, they really fit your podcast.
Mm.
You know what I mean? You've got to be, if you're going to be successful, you better be a strong man. And that's what the Marine Corps taught me. That's what Xerox taught me. And that's what failure taught me. I lost so many businesses failing.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I'm successful today, because I failed.
Yeah.
Period.
Fall down 3 times, stand up 4. No, I said fall down 3 times, stand up 4, right?
What's that now?
No, I said fall down 3 times, stand up 4.
Yeah.
Well, I wish it was only that many times.
Yeah. I just picked a random number.
I'm the biggest screw up I know.
So you worked for Xerox. How long did you do that sales job for?
What was that?
How long were you with Xerox doing sales?
4 years.
4 years with them.
And that best friend, his name was Larry. He and I he became number 1 in office products. I became number 1 in copiers. I'll give you a secret here. Mm-hmm. He taught me something very, very smart. Young guy. I mean, we're both young at the time. He used to be a Mormon missionary.
Really?
Whoa. And they said he's the reason I'm in Arizona is he's from Arizona. And the Mormon church sent him to Northern Ireland to sell Catholics Mormonism. Mm. So he's in Northern Ireland. I'm getting shot in Vietnam. He's got shot in Northern Ireland by rubber bullets. Mm. And so we come back. We're both getting hired about the same time at Xerox. This is 1974. And the sales manager says to me, he says, "What makes you think you can sell?" He says, "You don't have a master's degree. Everybody should have a master's degree."
Really?
Yeah. I looked at the sale. Yeah, they got to shit test you too, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Of course. They want to find out if you can come back at them.
Uh-huh.
So he pissed me off. I said, I didn't say you fucking asshole, but I wanted to say you fucking asshole. So I've just been driving a helicopter gunship against machine gun nest and all this. I've been shot down, all this stuff. If I can fly a helicopter against a machine gun nest, I can sell a Xerox machine.
Yeah.
You see, you're hired. You see, they shit test you too in real life.
Yeah.
And that's what you guys are teaching too.
Yeah, I feel like everyone does at some point get shit tested, either for your employer, your family, your friends, especially girls. So it's a part of life. But definitely,
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me tell you what my best friend did. I'm going to see him tomorrow for Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. He says, he says he doesn't even have a college degree. He flunked out of BYU. And he says, "What makes you think you can sell?" He looks at the salesman and says, "Look here, you fucking asshole. I've just been in Northern Ireland selling Mormonism to Catholics. I have the highest conversion rate in the history of the Mormon church, taking Catholics and turning them into Mormons." He says, "If I can sell Jesus, I can sell anything."
Yeah.
Guys, you're hired.
Wow.
And like I said, 2 years ago, he sold his business for $2 billion.
Fantastic.
So it's the number one skill. And if I could just leave you with that thought over again, this is one of the reasons I want to come on your program is because you guys are actually teaching this side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's more the entrepreneurial, it's the investor side. It's more, how to pick up women, how to handle women. They're very important life skills.
Yeah. Yeah. Transitioning from the employee mindset to the employer mindset, and I think that's very important for guys to understand, especially with the way things are now. Hell, and we're going to hit, the market's going to, at some point the market will crash. Hyperinflation is here, and that actually brings me to the next thing I wanted to ask you about was, how did you get into real estate? And for me, this is a soft spot because a big reason why I got into real estate was because of your book. Your book, I remember, and I'll give you a quick little story here. So I never told this story before, but I should say it. the year is 2018, right? And I used to be an agent with Homeland Security Investigations. I used to do criminal investigations, and I was transitioning from my field office in Laredo, Texas, to the Miami field office. And I know I'm like packing up my desk, getting ready to take that long drive to go over to Florida. And I'm looking at like condos in downtown Miami. I'm looking at, I'm like, yeah, I want to, because I'm in the desert, right? I've been in the desert investigating Mexican cartels for 4 years, human smuggling, human trafficking, gun trafficking, all that stuff. So I was like, dude, I'm going to go to where it's nice and sunny, not morbidly hot and heat, super dry. We're going to go into the beach and the sun and everything. So I'm like, I'm going to get a condo. I'm going to get girls. It's going to be lit. And one of the agents pulls me aside and he's like, hey, listen, man, I want to buy a condo in Miami, man. The HOA fees are crazy. It's not a good, return on your investment, blah, blah, blah. Cause I was going to buy a condo. And I was like, and to me, I'm like, I'm 28 years old at this point. I can't wait to get off the border. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about, man? He's talking about investing, cash flow, all this other stuff. And I'm like, what is this nonsense? And he hands me your book, Robert. He hands me your book. He says, read this book. And I'm not going to lie. I read it and I was like, this ain't for me. Closed it up. Went to Florida, right? Went to Miami. And I go through some bullshit at work. Pretty much I was, I was the subject of an internal investigation. I got cleared for it, but it was some BS allegations. But during that time, I had to realize, hey, what are you going to do? Are you going to continue being an employee and worried about maintaining your job and that security, right? In your 401k, which for us is the TSP, thrift savings account, or are you going to, bet on yourself and start a business? And I started a business, and your book was one of the first books I read. And I told myself, hey, I'm going to scale this fitness business up. And when I get money, I'm going to start investing into real estate, because now what's been established to me is that you don't really have security when you work for someone else, but you always have security when you work for yourself.
Yep.
And I opened that book back up and I started reading. And I finished the book, listened to it again on Audible. And that book was a very important piece of literature for me, man, during that transition where I was in a really dark place in my life where I thought I was going to lose my job. I thought I was going to get in trouble, because when you're under internal investigation, if you lie when they bring you in for your questioning, you can get charged with it's called 1001, which is, false statements. It's what they hit Martha Stewart with. Mm-hmm. And, obviously I told the truth. I got cleared of everything, but it made me realize, hey, you're not really secure like you think you are. And your book was critical in helping me, realize that and escaping that employee mindset. So I want to personally tell you, thank you on air for that, because that got me through a very dark time.
Well, thank you, because that makes me the happiest. Why do I like my work? Is when I talk to young guys like you and women about how, I was telling you when I talked to the English teacher, he says, you can either take the job security with Standard Oil or you can go fly in Vietnam. And we all come to those forks in the road. And that's what happened for you. You're at that fork in the road.
Yeah.
And as a young guy, you probably have about 10 more forks ahead of you.
Yeah. But I'll say you definitely helped me navigate that first fork. And in this year alone, Robert, this is crazy for me to even tell you this. Like, I would never think I'd be talking to you on air and telling you I was able to buy 6 properties this year, and I just closed on 3 last week alone because I had been under contract for one for forever. But no, man, I mean, your book was a huge inspiration for that. And I was just going to ask, how did you get into real estate yourself?
Well, that's kind of a long story, but let me explain something else to you with using this here.
Sure.
Okay. This is book number 2. What most people, there's 2 things about real estate: debt and taxes. Debt and taxes. Now, guys like, I don't forget his name, but anyway, when you look at an employee, this is all over the world, the employee pays 40% of their income in taxes. I don't care where you are in the world. It's pretty standard. Mm-hmm. A doctor, a lawyer, or a small business guy, like a guy who owns a little taco stand, he or she is paying 60% in taxes. So one of the hard things about people starting their business, so they quit their job and they move down here. Mm-hmm. So my rich dad explained that to me. He says, you see, that's the trap. That's the trap. So here I'm 28, 27 years old, still a Marine. And I said, so what happens on this side? He says, on this side, these guys pay 20%. in taxes. And I said, what do these guys pay? He goes,
0.
So here I am, 27, 28 years old going. And the reason that inspired me to move over here is because I wanted to come on this side. The way you pay 0 is real estate.
Bam.
Now let me because I love you and Rollo and Rich Cooper and all you characters. I've learned a lot from you.
Shout out to all those guys.
I really learned a lot from you guys. Like what one of the Rich or Rollo says, the ideal male is 6 feet, 6-pack, and 6 inches.
Yeah.
And I said, well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. I'm Japanese.
Yo, you should have heard him and Rolla talking. It was like watching your idol talk to your other idol. It was so funny, man.
Yeah.
We're talking in person.
No, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's
awesome. Let me give one more thing. So the other way, I think Rich Cooper says it, 6 feet, 6-pack, and 6 figures.
Yeah.
Or 100,000 a year. So that sounds good on this side here.
Yep.
But everything is opposite. You see, the universe or the world or God, everything's in 2. We have 2 eyes, we have 2 ears, we have 2 hands, 2 feet, stuff like everything's in 2. So on this side here, it's opposite. So for me, when whoever you guys say 6 zeros or whatever, 100,000. The trouble is you'll pay 60% in taxes.
Yeah.
Now, if you're on a real estate side here, my numbers are different. I want to, I'll give you the number. It's all in the zeros. So if you have $100, that's 2 zeros. You have $1,000, 3 zeros. If you have 10,000, it's 4 zeros. You have 100,000 is 5 zeros. $1 million is 6 zeros. On this side here, I wanted 9 zeros, $1 billion. I was not going to be a rich man until I made $1 billion here in debt.
Okay.
So the reason I could get there faster using real estate is who else is going to lend you $1 billion? So I celebrate. I'm 6 feet, 6-pack, and 9 zeros.
Clever.
But the more zeros I have, and this sounds opposite. It's completely opposite. Okay, you have a left foot and a right foot, right hand, left hand, 2 eyes, 2 ears. On this side here, I want as much debt as possible.
Okay.
So it's opposite. I know Dave Ramsey says live debt free.
Yeah.
That's good for these guys here.
Yeah.
But on this side, it doesn't work for me. So when I was about 27, 28, about the same age you were, I had to learn how to invest in real estate. So instead of going to the MBA program, I started taking real estate courses. And I had to find the best teachers.
Yeah.
So I was 27, and this guy says, he was a good teacher. I was still in the Marine Corps. And I said, well, how do I learn to buy something for nothing? He says, when you do that, you'll be a rich man. It's the same lesson my rich dad taught me. He says, when you don't need money, you're a rich man.
There you go.
Okay, so when people say, why do you invest in real estate? It's because you can use debt and you pay no taxes. You got to understand that the book I recommend is called Tax-Free Wealth. Very good book, Tax-Free Wealth, written by my personal accountant, Tom Wheelwright.
Yeah, Tom Wheelwright, yeah.
Yeah, get that book. You'll see a whole different world. What you'll see is the world on this side. And the other books are by my business partner, Ken McElroy. It's the ABCs of real estate investing, the ABCs of property management, and the advanced guide to real estate. You open your mind to this side, you'll know why you want as much debt as you can get. Whereas Dave Ramsey, and he's not a good friend of mine, but he's a friend of mine, he says live debt free.
Yeah.
The trouble is you just pay fucking taxes. Okay, so the reason it's real estate more than any other asset class, it's debt and taxes. The more debt I can get, the more cash I make, the less tax I pay.
Bam.
It's called capitalism.
Yeah, that's true.
Fantastic. I'll read some of these donations real quick, and then we'll get right back to it. Guys, I hope you got your notepads and you're writing this down, man, because that's very important stuff, because that's not what school teaches you. School is not going to teach you to take on debt, and I want to definitely go into that a little bit more, especially with real estate. So Native Arain, fire content piece, Mr. Robert, City Boys, we out here. Okay. Josh Miso, my dad made, nope, read that one. Okay, and guys, we're gonna read 20 and up, right? Yeah. Just to make sure that we stay efficient here. Shout out to the greatest OGs, Robert Kiyosaki, a man of real wealth and wisdom. People, get your crayons out, share the damn video, read all your books twice. Read all your books twice. You are my rich dad. Stay masculine. Hey, that's what we got here. $50 from Amos Brown. Thank you, Mr. Kiyosaki, for your service. Your book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, changed my life. Absolutely. Tay motivates. Love the show, guys. Keep bringing the goats. Oli, we got you. And then we have time, guys. We'll do a short Q&A at the end. Hong Van Tran, thank you, Mr. Kiyosaki, for service in the Vietnam War. Because of men like you, we Vietnamese people now live better lives. Plenty of food on our table because of the opportunities the Western world have gifted us. And thank you, FNF fam, always leveling us up. Much love. And that's all the way from Australia. Thank you. Renegade Wingman, Robert K. in the house on FNF. Phenomenal podcast. Rich Dad Poor Dad was a fantastic read. Robert, do you think we'll see the current inflation today play out as a repeat of what the U.S. went through in the 70s, or would it play out differently? Cheers, sir. We're going to talk about inflation, so don't worry about that. Great question, Renegade Wingman. I actually had that on my list. Omo. Robert, can you be my rich dad? Okay, got you, bro. and that's from Keontae Wynn. Thank you so much. And then Franklin, hello, Robert. I'm one of those Hex guys. I believe you know my friends Gary and Miguel. I want to thank you. Without your second book and board game, I wouldn't have had the mindset to invest in Hex. I can now retire my parents. Congratulations to you.
There you go.
And then last one here, Seto Kaiba. Holy crap, is Mr. Kiyosaki. My father gave me your book when I was 12, but I was a brat, so I didn't listen. But now I'm working on being successful to pay him back for being there for me. Thank you so much, Seto Kaiba. So you saw this with real estate, right? And you started investing. What was the first property you bought?
It was a 1-bedroom, 1-bath condo in Maui, right on the beach. $18,000, nothing down.
Nice. What year was this?
1973.
1973. Did you got it with a VA loan? No money down? Did you get it with a VA loan since you put no money down, or? No,
it's called negotiations.
Oh, man.
It's the same thing as when you pick up a young lady.
Yeah. So you got the property.
You've got to sell.
No, fantastic. So 18,000, you get into it, and then what did you do with it? Do you immediately rent it out? Did you live in it?
Well, no, I actually paid for it with a credit card. My limit was that high, so I paid for the credit card. It was 100% debt, and I made $25. That was an infinite return because I had none of my own money in it. It changed my life. You know, I started this program about those times that your life changes.
Mm-hmm.
And I stood there going, I just made $25 on debt. You know, I thought it was Donald Trump. And that's all. I want to let you know, that's all that guy does.
Yeah.
You say,
hey, Robert,
master negotiator.
Do you ever show him?
Guy, his sons are great people.
Robert, did you ever show him?
My family hates him, but you know, that's them.
Rollo's book. Did you ever give him Rollo's book?
What's that?
Did you ever give Trump Rollo's book, Rational Meal?
I don't think he needs it. You know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that guy is one. He is more real in person.
Oh, I believe
what people get offended at. He's even worse in real life. My wife loves him. My wife just loves him because he's a real man. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's no bullshit. He talks to women like he talks to guys.
Hey, man, I don't care what anybody says. I think he did a good job as president. People can go ahead and hate me for saying that, but I think he did a good job. But I will say this, though. So you get that first property, you drop $18,000 in debt on it, and then how did you maneuver into the next property? Did you end up selling it? Did you just hold it for a while? Did you pull equity out? Like, how did you?
Well, that was the big mistake I made. The reason I don't flipped, I've never flipped after that. I flipped it. So I went from 18 to 35 approximately.
Okay.
And the trouble is I had a taxable event then. And that violated every bone in my body. I don't pay taxes. Trump doesn't pay taxes. If you understand that, that's my accountant's book, Tax-Free Wealth, and my real estate partner's book, Ken McElroy, ABCs of Real Estate, ABCs of property. The key is property management. And then the next is the advanced investment strategies. So just those books are like $20 each. You have an advanced degree.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like last week, my partner Kenny and I bought a $31 million apartment house. No money, all debt. Did
you guys have to put any money into the deal at all, or were you guys able to raise the? How'd you guys?
This is a little bit. This is part of his third book, the Advanced Guide. So let's say I have a property and it's $100,000, and appreciation takes it up to $200,000. So I have a $200,000 equity position in there. If I take that money out, if I sell the property, I have a taxable event. So rather than that, we borrow the money out. And all that debt is tax-free.
Yeah. So
what we do is, let's say we need $6 million for a down payment. We borrow it out of the equity of other properties. So we have zero tax event. This is his third book, The Advanced Strategies. So we have zero taxable event. We have free tax. We have free money to put the down payment to buy the next one. So that's how I'm $1 billion in debt. And you'd be like Dave Ramsey and live debt free.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. So because, and that's one thing also, Robert, that I took away from your books. And I've always just been using other people's money. And with all these deals that I've done, the only property I really paid off was I paid one house off, for my parents. And there was like $60K left on it. So I just paid it off.
Yeah, that's smart.
And we rented it out. But everything else, I used the bank. I put a down payment, and I leveraged I used the bank's leverage, and got inside the property to make the cash flow. And I'm not going to lie to you, I was scared because I had always been taught, especially as a government employee, what do they teach you? Hey, don't contribute the most to your TSP. Have a TSP Roth, have a TSP traditional. Save money, hold cash. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Don't get into debt. And the thing is, and especially don't get into mortgage debt. And that always made me think like, damn, I don't want to be in debt. I want to have a lot of money, cash in the bank, whatever. But then once I started getting into real estate investing, which I'm doing now, anytime I have cash, it's the opposite. Now I'm like, I need to get rid of this, and I need to dump it into something. And we'll talk about inflation a little bit later, because I definitely want your opinion on that. But thank you for that. It made me realize I need to flip the script and get rid of this fiat currency, you know what I'm saying, and put it into something. And, putting it into an asset and then being able to get that money out. Can you tell the people a little bit about, because we're talking about pulling out of equity out of properties. You've done that pretty much. Have you done that since that first property you got in Hawaii for $18,000? Or no, you said you flipped it and you made $35,000. What did you do with that money?
Well, that was the mistake. And so that, for a couple of years, there was all these flip the properties, flip this house and all this stuff. I just go, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Not that you can't make money at it, but it's high risk. You pay taxes on the flip. It's called capital gains.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. There's three kinds of income: ordinary, portfolio, passive.
Bam.
And portfolio is capital gains. That's taxable. I don't want to pay tax. I remember when Hillary and Trump were debating during the 2016 campaign, Hillary tried to nail him saying, and you don't pay taxes. And Trump looks at her, he goes, that means I'm smart. It pissed off every peasant out there. You guys would love that guy. I mean, asshole.
Hey, Robert, put him on to us, man.
Put him on to us, man.
We'll take him.
We'll take him, man. Like I said, I think he did a great job, because I was an agent when he was president. People don't get that. I was an agent when he was president, and he did great things for law enforcement. He did great things for, he was pro law enforcement. He was pro military. We did really well under the Trump administration. We made the most arrests. We got a lot of funding. It was good. You know what I'm saying? And I think he did a great job, especially by doing right by government employees. He definitely took care of them. He gave raises and all that.
Quick story, real quick. So Robert, actually, I follow your book and Donald Trump's book at the same time. And it's funny, I did network marketing my first year into business, right? And I made a bunch of money, but I failed terribly because I didn't know how to maintain a team. And I moved to the States, and I was watching Grant Cardone a lot. And I said, yo, he'll be a great mentor for me. Let me go apply for a position at his company. He had a show called Whatever It Takes. So I'm on the show, right? Confident. I've been getting my mindset right. I've been reading books. And mind you, for network marketing, they tell you to read a bunch of books.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a suitcase full of books. I have your book in there, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I have Art of the Deal, all these books, right? But I want to be reading Grant Cardone's books. Long story short, I go to interview, right? I'm like, yeah, I'm making it from the islands. I'm here in America. I'm going to be a successful business owner, right? So I go into the office, meet Cardone, meet his assistant. He's like, sell me the water. I freeze up. I get nervous. I'm like, oh, crap. Sell the water. I'm not ready for this. Anyhow, long story short, I choke. I don't do that well. He says, you know what? Walter, you're a nice guy. You're never going to make it being this nice. Have a nice day. And that day, I'm not going to lie. I sat in my car, I cried. But what happened was I said, you know what? I got a choice to make here. Either I improve or I stay the same. And it hurt. Hearing that from when people that you look up to, you're never going to make it. But I opened up the suitcase. I had the book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I read that book and Art of the Deal. And thanks to that book, my whole trajectory of being employed was to save money to invest into real estate. And I bought my first property, and I made killing off of me because I knew off rip, I don't always want to be an employee, but the money I get from my job, I'm going to put it into assets to give me cash flow. Mm-hmm. So shout out to your book as well, Robert, and then Art of the Deal, because I was able to work on my negotiating skills and get things done. So
I didn't even know that. Yeah, it's funny that we picked up that book at the same time when we were both at low points. And
I was struggling, bro. I didn't even know where to go, but that helped a lot.
No, that's awesome. So because I want the people to kind of see like your how you became the real estate investor you are today. So you took that condo, sold it, made your money back, pretty much, or you doubled your money, right, on the property, and then what did you do with that $35K? Did you use it and spend it on buy another property? Did you invest it into something else? What did you do?
He got taxed on it though.
Yeah, he got taxed on it. Yeah, so you lost a significant amount, obviously, as well. But
it's not gross; it's net. So think about it this way: if you're a medical doctor, you make $1 million a year. Your net's $400,000.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's not smart.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And so that's what Trump and I were teaching. He and I traveled the world together. He and I were in Australia, New Zealand, Singapore. He is such a good man. You guys would love him.
Hey man, we need to get him on the show.
Phone call, Robert.
Yeah,
we'll do it.
Yeah, we'll make it happen, man.
And his sons are no bullshit either. So anyway, I'm not political. I'm not pumping Republican or Democrat, liberal or conservative, but I'm really pumping education.
Yeah.
If you listen to a bunch of pussy school teachers, you turn out to be a pussy.
It's true.
So Robert, I was going to ask, so what is your prediction on the future of the financial markets as far as inflation? Is a crash coming? What are your overall thoughts on what's going on? Obviously, we've printed a whole bunch of money in the past year thanks to this, pandemic. What are your future predictions?
That's a really good question. My other friend is this guy named Jim Rickards. He wrote The Dollar Crisis and in the New Case for Gold and all that. He and I are going to write another book together. Very smart guy. He was with LTCM, Long-Term Capital Management. He's a financial advisor to the CIA and the Defense Department. And technically, because he's much smarter than I am when it comes to economics, we're in a depression today. And what they're trying to do is pump enough money into it so the balloon stays afloat.
Gotcha.
And so they need inflation because the economy is deflating. The question is, how long can that last? I think a better question is, who's going to get fucked?
Oh, okay.
Literally.
It's not, you and I, we can call Biden and we can call the Fed chairman. We can call, they're not going to take our calls.
Yeah.
So they're going to do the same old thing. They're just going to pump more of this fake money into the economy, hoping it stays inflated. But as Jim Rickards says, he says it's not M2, it's not money supply, it's velocity. How fast is that money turning over? It's not turning over. People are saving it. Our savings accounts are bigger than ever. Meanwhile, the balloon's coming down. So the question is, if there's inflation, will you get richer? And if there's deflation, will you get richer? So I'm planning it, I'm not gay, but I swing both ways on this whole thing. I'm ready. I'm ready for, if it goes up, I'm going to get richer. If it goes down, I'm going to get richer.
That's
so one of the reasons I like gold, silver, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all that is because the Fed cannot mess with it. I don't trust the Fed. And everybody says, don't fight the Fed. I'd rather be the Fed. I just don't trust them. But I like the way they'll give money out. So the Treasury, which is Yellen and Powell, the Fed guy, they give out so much money. I just go in there and borrow it. Thank you, Jesus. And the interest rates are so low. Oh my God.
Yeah.
The
right
trouble
now.
is it's going to make the poor poor.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what disturbs me.
So Robert, would you say that there's going to be no more middle class anymore once this is over? Just rich and poor?
What was that?
Would you say that because of this, what's happening currently and what's going to happen preceding that, there's going to be no middle class, but only rich and poor, you would say?
Yeah, but you'll also see homelessness increase. This was yeah. Thomas Jefferson warned about this. He says that if you have a central bank, which the Fed is a central bank, you'll see homelessness increase. Because the central bank or the Fed, which is the third one, is only designed to make the rich richer.
Gotcha.
So that's why guys like me make so much money, is because the only way money comes into existence is I can walk up and borrow 30 million bucks. The average guy can't get a credit card.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So the gap gets wider and wider and wider.
Yeah.
Because so many people went to school and they tried to get this job, and then the taxes rip them to shreds. And then they fire you if you don't take the jab for the COVID shot. You don't wear a mask, they screw with you. So they just mess with you. So as a Marine Corps veteran, I came back and I said, nobody's ever going to do that to me again. Nobody.
Right.
Fuck you.
Straight up. Sheesh.
So you predict that the disparity between the rich and poor is just going to become even greater. And if people, so what can people do to kind of prepare for this? So they start dumping their money into real estate, into precious metals, cryptocurrency. I see that you're diversified, which is fantastic. So you pretty much are prepared for anything. What do you think people should do?
Well, I got taken down from Twitter, one of those guys, because I said, what I invest is gold, silver, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and bullets. And I'm not kidding you. You think about it this way. Do you remember just a few months ago, you couldn't buy a bullet?
Yeah. We talked about this on Timcast podcast, that firearms and ammunition is going to go up in price as things become less and less stable, or if things get crazy,
And you know what? Who was it? This character who says, I'm going to shoot you, but first I got to buy a bullet. I can't afford a bullet yet.
I'll say this:
I made a fortune on bullets in this last about 6 months ago. I bought a pallet of 5.56, or what we carried in Vietnam, the 223 ammunition.
Yes,
I had a pallet of it. I bought it for 7 cents a round, and I sold it for $1.20 a round.
Whoa, that's amazing!
Holy crap!
1 million rounds.
Wow.
Whoa,
that is crazy, man.
But it's funny because we have a lot of friends, right, that are successful millionaires, and they have like a bunker full of like ammunition, guns, and it's like, yo, like if people need it, where do they go? To you. Yeah. So supply and demand.
Is that a taxable event when you sell a bunch of ammunition?
If I report it.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just helping some friends out.
Yeah, there you go.
It was really funny. Not too long ago, I go to the shishi bar, for all the yuppies in Arizona, and I'm carrying freaking ammunition in there to sell to them.
Hey, man, you got to do what you got to do.
My dinner, my drinks, and all this.
So gold and silver, because I don't see a lot of people talk about this, and I kind of wanted to get your take on it. I actually bought 200 ounces of silver myself. Shout out to Aaron Clary. He advised that I do that. What are your thoughts for someone that wants to, as a beginner, that wants to potentially get into precious metals? What do you think that a good, I guess, starter kit, for lack of a better term, with precious metals would be?
Okay, number one, the reason you want gold, silver, Bitcoin, and bullets, you don't want to be part of the Fed or the Treasury. You want to be outside the system. And silver is my favorite for a couple of reasons. Gold is for storing. So I have a lot of gold. But silver is for spending.
Okay.
Silver and bullets. So if the shit hits the fan and the dollar is all in pieces or it's all screwed up, people will always accept silver. So I can go and buy food. I can buy whatever you need to buy. So I'll say it again. Gold is for storing, saving. Silver is for spending. So I have thousands and thousands of silver eagles and gold eagles. But if I have to run, I'm carrying the gold with me, but I'm going to spend the silver.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Wow, fantastic. How much do you think someone should buy in gold as a beginner?
Roughly.
I don't really have that. You just start, you find a gold dealer, someone you can trust. Stay away from what they call numismatic. They say, oh, this is a rare coin. Well, how do you know if it's rare or not?
Microscope.
I just want something that's, the word is liquid. So it's acceptable anywhere in the world, anytime.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So I can take my silver to Hong Kong. They'll take it immediately. Take my gold, they'll take it immediately.
And Robert, what does success mean to you?
Huh?
What does success mean to you?
That's a good question. Today I'm 74 years old. The happiest thing for me is when young guys like you tell me they read the book. That's what it means.
Okay.
It makes me the happiest.
Yeah, I saw your face light up whenever we mentioned about the book or someone commented about the book. You were like all ears happy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Because, that's what my rich dad gave me. He gave me knowledge, gave me wisdom, he gave me spirit. He gave me the fuck you attitude.
What are your thoughts on cryptocurrency?
What's that?
I heard that you mentioned earlier Bitcoin and Ethereum, which I'm a huge fan of as well.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on cryptocurrency, getting into it, coins that guys should look at? I know you mentioned two already, but what are your thoughts on cryptocurrency as a whole?
Well, I am really terrible with crypto, so I wouldn't ask me. It's not so much crypto as at what price did you buy it at? So I bought Bitcoin late. I bought it at 6,000. So today it's about 60. So I'm okay. So it's always what was the price of entry.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're buying it today at 100,000, you might be late. Same as real estate. It's no different.
Yeah.
It's not when you buy, it's when you sell. I mean, it's not when you sell, it's when you buy.
Okay.
So a lot of the times I need to be early. And so I was early in Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I'm very happy. I like both of them. I think Ethereum's better than Bitcoin just because it's more practical as far as I understand.
Yeah.
Right.
But I like silver because it's practical also. And silver is 50% off its all-time high. Its all-time high was 50, and today it's 25.
I have 200 ounces of it. Do you think I should get more?
I would.
Okay.
It's either Ethereum or silver.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And you never plan to, you hope you don't have to spend it is the thing.
Yeah.
But if you do, you're ready to go.
Gotcha. Okay. I just learned a bunch there because with precious metals, I kind of got into it, but I don't know too much. I didn't know that silver is what you spend and gold is what you hold, what you save. And is there a reason for that? Is it because just gold, I guess, is not as widely accepted, or is there a certain reason why gold is hold versus silver is spend immediately if needed?
Well, gold and silver are God's money. God put money. I'm not really religious, but gold and silver are part of the elements. I mean, they're part of the periodic table. They'll be here for a while.
Gotcha.
I started a gold mine in China, a gold mine, and a silver mine in Argentina. And my gold mine in China went to $1 billion, and the Chinese took it. So I found out as a young man, I found out the hard way, the word called nationalization. They'll take it from you, which is communism.
Exactly.
So I found out the hard way, but that's life.
Well, I'll tell you this.
Anyway,
If the government takes it from you, then you know that it's valuable, right?
yeah, but it taught me a lesson is that I was in Singapore once at this private airport, and I saw this like a Learjet pull up, and the guy just opens it up, and these cases of gold comes off. I went, holy mackerel. The door shuts, jet's gone. And I went, that's for me. So today I own a Lear 60, and my gold is stationed at different parts of the world.
Wow.
And when people say, aren't you afraid the government's going to come after you? I said, well, they probably are, just because I piss them off. But, that old saying, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. Because I have a Lear 60 and my gold is offshore.
Boom.
Prepared, man. Prepared. Prepared.
Super chats? Or
Yeah. I could read some of these real quick. And Robert, let us know. And I know you said you're tight on time. If you got to go, please let us know, and we'll end it as soon as you need to go.
No, I'm ready. It's just enjoyable, you guys.
No, thank you. And this is an honor to speak with you. It really is.
Yeah, because it's funny. He's as funny in person as he is on camera. Like, Robert is hilarious.
And Robert, I'll say this. You're a very personable guy. You obviously have friends in high places. Did you read the book, How to Win Friends and Influence?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a very important book.
Yeah.
Very important. I'm glad you guys study so much,
Thank you, man.
If I could plug my next book coming out in December.
Right now.
Yeah, right now. Go ahead.
It's called The Communist Manifesto. And the positioning statement is how to fight communism taught in our schools by teaching capitalism in our homes.
Bam.
We've got to fight back. School teachers are communists. I hate to say that. My whole family is communist.
Would you say that because I agree with you on that, Robert. I went to Northeast University in Boston, and we all know the Northeast is pretty woke. And this is right in the middle of downtown Boston. It is what it is. And back then, when I graduated in 2013, it was already had that weird agenda, of, everyone is woke. Everyone's feelings are very important, blah, blah, blah. And it's gotten significantly worse as I've gotten older and, and left college. Would you say nowadays that university is almost a socialism indoctrination camp?
Amen. They're not bad. They're not bad people. Do you understand that? They just don't know how to make money.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my whole family, they're socialists, Marxists, communists, It's horrible, but they just don't know how to make money.
Yeah.
So they get angry at the capitalists. So I read the Communist Manifesto at college, and what he says is coming true today. What Marx said in 1848 in that book, The Communist Manifesto, is coming true today. So you read this book here, it's a lot bigger book. This is a rough copy I pushed out, but it's coming true today. So it goes in 4 stages. Let me real quickly. It goes into the first stage. We get to capitalism, and then what Marx predicted is that there would be a stage 1 after communism, after capitalism. That was the Communist Manifesto. So the Communist Manifesto says after capitalism would come socialism, and socialism would be introduced to the United States via education, and so that we have postmodernist education now. All this other bullshit. Subjects are teaching and all this stuff. But stage 1 just ended. Socialism is complete in America. That's why guys like my age, we all need Social Security. We need Medicare. You guys are going to pay for it. We have kids deeply in debt. Socialism was complete in 2020. The president of the United States was taken down by taking away our freedom of speech. So I was watching this, and the subject I studied in 1965 at the academy, I saw coming true. So when I was reading the Communist Manifesto, I said, oh my God. So in 2020, when I saw my friend Trump get taken down, socialist media, what's it? Facebook can censor you, and all these guys censor you. I'm going, what's happened to us? But stage 2 is happening now, and stage 2 is violence. That's when socialism goes to communism. And what happens at stage 2, when socialism takes over communism. Communism takes over socialism. They killed the teachers.
Well,
You know why? It's because the socialists are pussies. So historically, when you look at the number of people they murdered, every time communism took over, they kill the academics. I'm not saying to do it. I'm saying that's what has happened historically.
That's what's happened. Okay.
and Robert,
And
people are asking
we're at there right now.
where can they find the book to purchase? They want to know where to find it in the chat. Your book.
What's that?
Where can they find your book to purchase? The
It comes out in about 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
About
Okay,
2 weeks.
cool.
Okay, yeah. Because guys in the chat right now that are watching, and there's 2,800 of you guys in here. Plus, guys, like the video, man. Y'all getting a lot of gems right now. You guys have a legend in your presence right now. So please like the video. And with the book, do you have a release date exactly for it, Robert?
So I want to say one more thing. Okay, the
Please.
last step of communism is this. It's called government Bitcoin. And when that happens, we're fucked. So the government Bitcoin is going to take over. Then its big brother is watching you. They got you. So my recommendation for people, I could be wrong, but I'm paranoid ever since Vietnam, is that you want to be in gold, silver, Bitcoin, or Ethereum and bullets. You want to be outside the banking system.
Gotcha.
Because when it goes to GovCoin, they can bypass the commercial banks. So it goes straight from the Fed to you. The Fed to you.
Whoa.
That's big brother. That's the future. That's my prediction. And so that's what this book here, Communist Manifesto, is about, is as soon as they go to government, what do they call it? Government cryptocurrency, whatever they call it, GovCoin, we're finished.
Okay. Wow. Okay. I'll read some of these donations real quick. Okay. So, we're only reading 20 and up. Robert is amazing. Bought all his books when I was younger. Now successful business owner and financially free. Study Robert's teachings. Wishing you the very best. Thank you. Jonathan Farley. Trump will love my essay. Lift every DeVos and sing for the Baltimore Sun newspaper about why African Americans should have given Trump a chance. Okay. Jonathan Farley. Thank you for that. $104. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. CAD, $70 Canadian. Cal-El, sorry. He goes, thank you, Robert Kiyosaki, for the amazing book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, life-changing work. Thank you, Myron Walter, producer Chris and engineer Trey and team for having the RP Godfather of Finance on the #1 podcast in the world. # gold, silver, and Bitcoin. Okay, thank you. Schmeebles, main reason I'm moving to the United States, getting property, and I'll be reading those advanced strategies rules books. Appreciate the book recommendations. Rich Dad, Poor Dad changed my life. And that's Schmeebles all the way from Australia.
Down under.
And we got our boy Bulldog Mindset in the house. Rich Dad, Poor Dad changed my life. Awesome to see Robert in here. $100. Guys, go subscribe to his channel. That's a homie of the channel.
Yep.
Shout out to John Sonmez from Bulldog Mindset. And then we got Gina Smiles. Have you read How to Win Friends and Influence? Yep, he definitely has. And then we got Eric Purcell. $100. He goes AXUSD for the win. Thoughts on Forex? Great show, gentlemen. Okay. RDPD, great book. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And then Avery Jones. Where/how exactly does someone brand new to precious metals looking into buying them as in a person dealer, an online website? How and where do you begin looking to buy these? Okay. Red Dawn, $100. I have a question. New to channel. I'm sitting on $150K in the bank and I'm not sure what first steps I should take and afraid to make all the wrong ones. Any advice? Amen. Real estate ain't going nowhere, my friend.
Yep.
And then you got and you got more than enough to put a down payment on a really nice property that will cash flow for you. COTG, Robert, it is amazing to have you, one of my mentors, over to your house. Shout out to Gary, aka Funding, Jim Hex. You guys. And then we got Jonathan Farley, $100 again. I can copy edit the Capitalist Manifesto. I'm the best copy editor in the English language. I found typo in The Secret, and I think I found the one in Secret Hero. Danica McKellar asked me to proofread several of her bestsellers. Well, I don't. If he needs an editor, he'll reach out to you. Okay, so what was I going to say here? So inflation, what are your thoughts on inflation right now in today's day and age, Robert? Because I've noticed it significantly just from like buying Diet Cokes and Coke Zeros that it's went up significantly. And I'm only 31. I'm sure you've seen it, a far larger trend over your experience. What are your thoughts on inflation?
It's the same thing. Inflation is a tax upon the poor and middle class. But inflation makes the rich richer. So if you understand that, you won't be buying that Coke Zero. You might be buying some silver instead.
Well, now after this talk with you, I'm going to go ahead and definitely get some more silver. I bought 200 ounces thinking, hey, that's good. You know, I'm at beginner level, but I'm definitely going to go get some more. Now, where can people pick up precious metals such as gold and silver?
Yeah, and today.
Where can they get it?
Well, no, you've got to be careful and be careful of the dealer. Every dealer is going to sell you what they call numismatic, which is collectible coins. It's all bullshit.
Okay.
That's like, well, this stamp is worth more than that stamp. I'm going, well, how do I know?
Mm.
So I would personally, I don't buy numismatic or collectibles.
Yeah. Okay.
Remember, gold and silver are God's money. They were put here by God.
Mm-hmm.
So gold is for saving and silver is for spending. So if you have to pick up your bag and run, you're carrying gold and silver.
Okay.
So you can spend and, survive on the road. Plus you have bullets and all that. I carry full autos.
Second Amendment is a wonderful thing.
Listen,
yeah,
man.
I don't waste my time with Glocks. They're too slow.
I have a question for you. That's what I have.
The Glock.
That's what I still got my my weapons from the G. So I'll say this. So real estate. Me and Fresh are both involved in real estate. Obviously, you're an expert with real estate. In these times, should people be looking at multifamily, single family, commercial, condos? What's your thoughts on real estate in today's day and age, 2021 and beyond?
Well, first of all, I don't buy condos because of exactly as I said, the HOA.
Agreed. Yep.
Okay. Now, the other thing too is you better please get educated first. Buy my friend's books, The ABCs of Real Estate Investing. That costs you $60. It'll save you a lot of pain and effort. The most important is the ABCs of basic investing, property management, and then the advanced strategies. And then that goes with my accountant's book, Tom Wheelwright, Tax-Free Wealth. I'm not saying to do that. If you don't want to buy those books, follow Dave Ramsey's advice and live debt-free.
There you go.
Okay.
So they have two routes. You know what I'm saying? They can
either or.
They can do either.
And there's one more thing. As young as you guys are, you'll make mistakes, right? But that's how you get smarter.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And by the time you're my age, I've made so many fucking mistakes. I'm pretty intelligent.
Yeah, I did an episode yesterday actually on the property I closed last week. When we had the audio issues and everything. And one of the mistakes I made, and this will make you proud, I went to the same bank to do two different loans, and I shouldn't have done that. I should have kind of spread it out and used different lenders for different properties. And what happened was the bank originally said, "Oh, we can't do these two deals." Then they doubled back and came back because they wanted the debt, right? And they wanted to lend me the money, and they lent it to me, but they weren't able to do the other deal. So luckily, I was able to find a lender through my real estate agent. But no, I agree. Definitely mistakes are always going to be made. And we ended up closing it. It was a triplex, but.
And Robert, how are you on time right now?
Yeah.
I got about 10 more minutes. I got to run. I like triplexes. They're neat.
Yeah, that was my first one, a triplex.
Yeah. Are you still buying residential, or are you only commercial now at this point?
No, it depends on the deal.
Okay.
Like last week was $31 million for a place in Austin, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, my partner, Ken McElroy, the guy with those 3 books, the ABC of Real Estate Investing.
Guys, go get those books. I'm going to check them out myself.
He can take a $31 million property and turn it into $45 million. He can improve them. He doesn't flip them. There's a difference between improving, or value add, he calls it, and just flipping the damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So the things he does, like he adds washers and dryers to them, jacks the rent up, buys the washers and dryers with debt, and that's all free money again.
Smart.
And he gets it through so does he ask for a bigger loan from the bank, or does he get a separate loan? It's
always loan. It's always debt. Just remember, the US dollar is debt. The US dollar became debt in 1971 when Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard. So today, the only people getting rich are people who use debt as money. So I can borrow. The reason I told you about, I got $1 billion in debt is because I know how to borrow money. And other people like Dave Ramsey are saying, well, save money and cut up your credit cards. I'm going, whoa, Tarzan, you know what I mean? But again, I'll start this whole program. You come to those forks in the road, just like you did. You come to that fork in the road, and you take that road less traveled. And sometimes the big hairy bear waiting for you to eat you.
Yeah. Yeah, and you got to be able to sometimes run away from the bear and go to the other side of the fork of the road and realize, hey, because I definitely made a few mistakes, with some of the deals that I did this year myself. One of them were, like I said, I did the 2 loans with one bank and one ended up dropping. Another one is I didn't like double check the rent rolls with the estoppel letter. So like one of the tenants actually paid less than what they had said on Redfin. So, I ended up losing a little bit of money on that, as far as like what the cash flow was. But I always calculate at the worst. So I still was okay. I still was positive, but I agree. You got to definitely like sometimes even go down the road.
But guess what?
Yeah.
You're smarter today.
Yes, exactly.
Man, you're smart. Every day you get smarter. And what the school teachers tell you to do is don't make mistakes. That keeps you stupid.
Yeah,
it's the most tragic thing there is.
And we still would make a lot of mistakes. Even right now.
Yeah.
And that's why they're Marxists. They don't know how to make money.
Hey, Robert, this is kind of off topic, just real quick. Do you believe in NWO, which is the New World Order?
What's that?
Do you believe in NWO, which is the New World Order?
I couldn't hear you. Oh, no, I don't. It could be. I don't know. I don't follow that stuff. Okay. I'm just a simple capitalist with a Layer 60, with my gold stashed in different parts of the world.
Okay.
There you go.
And I have a second passport.
Yeah, you got to be ready, man. You got to be ready.
My plane wheels up tomorrow at 9:00. I go see my best friend in Hollywood. He's a guy that sold his business for $2 billion. He is 100% debt also. We've been friends since 1974. So a big part of it, who your friends are.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's amazing because, you, Grant Cardone, a bunch of guys that are huge in real estate always say that, like, debt, man, it's when it comes to real estate, it's your friend. And I like how you mentioned, like, the whole purpose of it is to mitigate your tax liability, which is what the rich do. A lot of people don't know this, because a lot of people know, Donald Trump for just being a president, but he's an extremely savvy businessman and real estate investor. And that's where a lot of his money came from, was from real estate investing in New York, and obviously in New York City, we all know is appreciated. It's extremely expensive to live there. But, that's how he was able to make a lot of his money, which, real estate it always appreciates, even if the market crashes. So, guys, definitely look into that and all the other stuff that we talked about too.
Yep.
So do you want me to read these real quick and then we'll close out?
Yeah, we can close out from here.
Okay, so I'll read the chats real fast and we'll close out. Hi, Robert. If Donald Trump gets back in office, would you consider being on his staff on his administration? Oh, that's a good question. $20. Would you, Robert, want to be on the chief of staff there?
He said no.
No, never. I don't like politics.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you.
Me either.
Yeah, the media did their best to try to make him look. They cut and edited clips from his speeches, to make him look a certain way. It's ridiculous. Hakeem Kelly, definitely rewatching this podcast and buying the book. Thank you, FNF, for dropping this knowledge for us. We got you. Moonpilled Rational Ganger, beans, bullets, bandages, and Bitcoin. Okay, and then we got Avery Jones, $20. How do you properly vet a precious dealer to see if they're good and authentic compared to other dealers? What things to look for and what questions to ask? So how would you vet a dealer, Robert? And I guess this could be our last one on metals.
You better ask somebody who already deals with them.
Right.
There you go.
It's only common sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You find somebody who already deals with them. There's a lot of flakes out there. You mentioned a couple of guys I wouldn't do business with already, but I know them. But it doesn't mean they're right or wrong. It's just I wouldn't do business with them.
Gotcha.
But and that's where you'll start finding out as you go through life. Like I've been with my friend Kenny, the guy with the 3 books, 25 years. Tom, 25 years. We've made frickin' millions together. I don't need any more friends.
Yeah, no, at that point it'll be a liability.
Wait, Robert, last question to close out. So, how did you find the RP space?
What was that?
How did you find the RP space? Which is
how did you find Rollo?
Yeah, Rollo, basically.
I'm afraid I don't understand the question.
Okay, so our platform, right, is definitely in a space where it's not regular TV. But how do you find like Rollo's book, Rational Mail? How do you find us in closing?
The truth is my wife left me 4 years ago.
Mm.
And, the biggest, I said this to Rollo and to Rich Cooper. It was the best thing that ever happened because I never cheated on her. 35 years, I've had a lot of opportunity to cheat and fuck around and all that, but I never did. And that was the mistake. And I'm not saying the mistake was not to cheat on her. Is after I read Rollo's book and Rich Cooper, what happened was I got to be a big fat beta. They call him a happily married man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what happened was she kept growing and I didn't. So it's exactly as Rich Cooper says, you got to chase excellence, don't chase women.
Bam.
No,
Profound.
Very true. No.
Accountability
Very
to
true.
the max.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so what happened is, it hurts. It still hurts. 35 years have been together. I wouldn't be here without her, Kim. So she's a rich woman. And she made me who I am today. I have no anger at her. But the thing was, I slowed down, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So exactly as Rich says, chase excellence. Be the high value male.
Bam.
There you
Do
go.
you know what I mean? Always be the best. So I love Rollo. I love Rich. I love what you guys are doing because we need stronger men.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We really do. Because too many men are being raised by single women, as you know.
Yeah.
Facts.
And that's not good or bad, but in the Marine Corps, we have words for them.
And I'll read this last super chat here.
Yeah.
This was fantastic.
Yep.
It's Jose Perez, $200. We choose cash flow over capital gains, and we subscribe to infinite returns on investment. Ken McElroy. Thank you, Godfather. You saved my life with that program you and Kim did on Kosei years ago. Thank you so much for that, Jose. Big supporter
Perez.
of your work, Robert. So, Robert, where can the people find you?
Well, I like to stay hidden, if you know what I mean.
On social media, websites. Obviously, your book comes out in 2 weeks.
RichDad.com. I have a Rich Dad radio show. It goes down to the first word I learned at the military school. Mm-hmm. Mission. The same word I learned at Marine Corps. The mission. Mission is more important than money because mission is spiritual. And I only do this because it's part of my mission. And my best friend who sold his business for $2 billion, he learned that on the mission, the Mormon mission. And so those are the things that carry you the bad times and the good times, the goods and the bads. So as long as you keep your spirit, and stick to your mission, support other people, don't fuck them over, you'll be okay.
Never give up.
Bam. Robert, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you, Robert.
This is still surreal to me that I was reading your book about 2 years ago when I was going through that dark time, and now I'm talking to you and you're saying that you watch us and everything like that. I don't even really have words.
Robert, next time you come to Miami, we need you in here.
Yeah.
Like last time at the conference, me and Rolo, we need you in the flesh to have you on the show, man.
Yeah. So thank you so much for spending some time with us today. It was an honor. Like, you don't even understand how much this means to us.
Yep.
Thank you so much. And guys, he is Robert Kiyosaki, author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Go get the goddamn book.
And the new book.
And then get the new
Capitalist
book. Manifesto, which comes out in 2 weeks, guys. We'll catch you guys here in a few hours with some lovely ladies. Thank you so much, Robert. Peace, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
We're on this